So fast forward to many years later, because after that, I left that, sold that business. I got into vehicle security. I was in that for 7 years. I then decided to leave that. I had moved up to Johannesburg, and I met my potential wife. And 3 months before I was about to get married, I resigned from that business. And I decided, and in my shareholders agreement, it prevented me from selling for 2 years.
Sure.
So, and I couldn't go into a competitive. I wasn't going to. But while I was at the vehicle security space, I was the marketing director there. I had a little ad agency, and you become intimate with your suppliers, and every single month they would come to me and say, "Could you pay me early? Just a little bit early." So what's going on? What's going on? No, can you please pay us early? Cash flow issues.
Sure.
So I said, let me help you turn around your business. So I worked with them on Saturdays, in the evenings. And one day they invited me on a Saturday to a Wimpy. And then these two guys reached over and they said, "Welcome, partner." I said, "What do you mean?" They said, "The business turned around and we're giving you equity in the business." So how much? 33%. So when I had moved up to Joburg with that vehicle security business, a lady phones me up. She goes, "I hear you turn around advertising agency." So I said, "Yeah, that's what I do." So she goes, "How does it work?" I said, "Come see me." So she came to see me. So I said, "If I turn you around, I get 33%, because there was no model.
You've got a working model.
Yeah, you've got a working model. This is all BS,
Yeah.
So I worked with her. And then when I resigned, I went to the two of them and I said, "I'll work with you full time. And you take care of a quarter of my salary each. And I'll work out the other half, and I'll get that through profit share. So I'll work with you and really grow your businesses." So I then started with those two, and then it went to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7. And then when we were 7, I was driving around Johannesburg. I had a broken car that, no AC, the summer, windows wouldn't come down, doors wouldn't lock. Thought, no, there has to be a better way. And so I called them all to a meeting, all 7. I said, "Let's move into one place. And then I can move from one office to the next."
Instead of them to be the same office park.
Same office, same set of offices. And I said, "We'll share a receptionist, share a boardroom." And that's how we started what was to become Raiz Corp. And 2 years into it, I was at a braai, and somebody says, "What do you do?" And I explained to them. I said, "Oh, you run an incubator." I'd never heard the term. Never heard it. But I was already doing it. And then
you were getting 33% equity in all of them because of the first one that you did, and you were given equity.
Yeah.
Right.
And then that is how Raiz Corp started. And then many years later, 5 years and 2 months later, I made profit. I didn't make profit for 5 years and 2 months. I borrowed money from brothers-in-law.
Was it to reinvest in the businesses, or?
I had 5 credit cards. I didn't even know it was illegal. And I can say it now, but honestly, I didn't know it was illegal. It's called kite flying. I had opened up 5 credit cards and moved money between them to cash flow me. I had 5 friends who I borrowed money from, and I just kept the money rolling. That's how I cash flowed Raiz Corp. And so 5 years and 2 months later.
It's illegal, guys.
It's illegal. Yeah. 5 years, 2 months later, I made my first profit. And then I went to my mentor and I gave him equity in the business.
A billionaire mentor.
Yeah. And he said, he took it. And then when we started to make real money, he wanted to give it back. And I said, "No, a deal's a deal." And so what Raiz Corp is a paid forward for what happened to me, because what we do, that guy gave me a second chance. Right. What we do is give people a second chance, because even while I'm telling you that story, where even with everything I had, I failed, and have since failed, just by the way, many times in many things. So to be in an environment where you've got people who believe in you, people who can give you the support, people that can push you through, that's far more important than knowing that cost of sales is GP. The technical side is one thing. You can watch you, but being in a supportive environment for entrepreneurs is far more critical than anything else.
Why do you think the billionaire chose to back you in the first place?
Have
you ever had that conversation?
Yeah, I did. He's still my mentor today. He doesn't live in South Africa anymore, but he was here a couple of weeks ago. He came for dinner. I've got grown kids now.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him.
And he's still a billionaire?
Multi-billionaire.
Yeah. Okay.
But I asked him at that time, because we know, what is it that you want? Like, what do you see? And I thought many more better entrepreneurs than I believed I was. And still. But he saw drive. He saw persistence. He saw what he saw. Actually, I'll tell you what he saw. He saw father issues. Okay, father issues. So he had father issues.
Uh-huh.
And there's two psychologists, Collins and Moore, that show that if you've got father issues, you're far more likely to become a successful entrepreneur than if you don't.
I've got father issues, guys. True story.
True story.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, we can talk about the psychology of that later, but now I've got two boys. Now, do I act as a bastard to them? No, because
probably not.
No. So, it's in a dilemma. So it doesn't mean that if you've got a good relationship with your father, you won't become successful. It's just a probability curve. But father issues is a very high predictor of success. Very high predictor. So I had father issues. Yeah. He had father issues. And if you look at who he invested in, if he identified father issues, that was a good investment strategy for him. So not totally, but that was it. So even in I invest in a big Raiz Corp. We've got a division called Partner Elite, where that's the original part of Raiz Corp with the equity.
Uh-huh.
And there, I asked, what's your relationship with your father? Okay. If you've got father issues, you come to the front of the queue. You come straight to the front, and we can have a conversation, because I understand the drive, that cockroach that runs around your head when you've got father issues.